Mori ore te whānau, no mai, haere mai, and welcome back to the 99 Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Raore, and Merry Christmas. Also, if this is your first time listening, welcome into the 99 Dreams podcast. As I said, I'm Raore, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Glad to have you here. Today, I have a fun show lined up for you. I've got my cousin in the studio, so he's here in the tari, in the 99 Dreams tari today. So, man, I don't even know. There's just so many words I could use to describe my cousin, but I'll just leave it up to him. He's an amazing man. He's a new father, so I'd love to welcome to the show, Stephen Harmy. Welcome to the show, my cuz.
My cuz, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Nah, glad to have you here, my G. It's going to be a fun show. Like I said, I had Te Ope on the show just the other week. So that was lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to this one, my cuz. But before we get started, can you just give us a bit of a Kōwai Norway, who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, no, thank you, my cuz. So as the cuzzy mentioned, Stephen Harmy, the cuzzy Raz cuzzy. Born Taranaki, bred Waitara. Just living my life, cuz.
And for some of those who don't know, what were some of your things growing up that you used to get on and do in Waitara, my cuz?
I was much the same for a lot of kids around Waitara. Jumping off the bridge. I think maybe you might have covered that on some guests that you've had on the podcast earlier on. But it was much the same. It was sports growing up. Jumping off the bridge, being pinonals around the town, staying out till late at night, doing all that good shit. Cause it's just one of those things. Cause a typical, I don't want to put everyone in a category, but a typical Māori upbringing. Cause so if people can relate to that, then they can relate.
Nah, I definitely think there's a few listeners and viewers out there that know the go, especially those that grew up here in Waitara. I know on YouTube an avid watcher is old Nani, so shout out Nani, what's good, brother? I know you'll be watching this. But yeah, there's this new segment on the show that Te Ope and he introduced it to me. He stole it from somewhere else, I can't quite remember. But it's your rock and your rose, your highs and your lows. So the rock bottom of your week and the rose of your week. What's been that sweet smell and success?
Yeah, the rock bottom of the week. It's definitely the week that's been. I finished mahi now. It's the 23rd. So finally finished up for the year with mahi. But the last week, everyone wants to get their projects done for the work that I do. So it's a lot of pressure and a lot of get shit done or else. So that's sort of the rock bottom, cuz. But the highs for me, it's always coming home and seeing boy. I know it's cliche and as cheesy as that sounds. It is coming home and seeing my son. Like you said, new father now, so those are always buzzy times, coming home and going, oh fuck, that's right, I've got a little son, like a little person that I have to look after now and go through all that stuff with my wahine. So that's always a high for me, just coming home to my whānau. So yeah, that's pretty much, it's a stock standard week, but just for this week, coming close to Christmas, it's just been the stress of work, that pre-Christmas rush that I guess a lot of people will feel coming close to Christmas. So yeah.
Yeah, nah, hard. I definitely feel that. There's just so much pressure to get everything that you've got lined up, finished, and you can just leave it all behind in 2022 and move on to 2023. One thing that you just touched on, as well as I touched on in the intro, is you're a new father, kawariki. How was that, being a new father? We had Te Ope Breezing on the show just the other week talking about what fatherhood's meant to him and how that's going. And he gave some advice about, sometimes it's not always just about us. Like, we have a hard day at work and it's about coming home and helping out our partner, because, it's two to make a baby, it's two to raise a baby as well. So what's some of the things that you guys have gone through since the arrival of kawariki?
Yeah, no, good question, cuz. It's to me, it's a, it's a buzzy feeling, cuz. I mean, I always knew I was going to have a kid. But I guess until you really really become a father, you sort of realize the responsibilities that are bestowed upon you. Um, it's weird, cuz when people do ask that question of, you know, how was it being a father? To me, it's you, it's feeling that love, cuz like there's a love that you feel when you have a child that I don't think anyone can describe unless you go through that phase of your life when you have a kid. It's a love that's scary, cuz it's a scary love, because it's a love that you're willing to die for. And although you say, you know, although you die for your family, but you know, when you have your own offspring, it's a scary love, cuz, because it's something that, you know, now that you have to raise this little person in this fucked up world that we have right now, um, and is so different from the world that we grew up in. Um, it's to me it's exciting. It's 100% it's exciting, but it's scary at the same time, because the world is so unpredictable now, and to have to bring up a little person in this world, and give them all the tools that they need to survive and to be successful and happy in this world is it's a buzzy thing to think about, and I do think about it quite a lot. Um, Especially, you know, you want your kids to be the better versions of yourself, right? For you know, that goes for the male, or the father and the mother. You just want them to be the best. You want to give them the best. You want them to grow up and be successful and be happy, and you know, do all these things. And so that's one thing I've been sort of pondering over, I guess, and lately, is fuck, now I've got this kid that I need to, especially being a boy, you know, as a father, it's like, fuck, I've got to teach him how to be a man. You know, I've got to teach this boy how to be, to survive in life, and to be a strong man, and you know, and navigate through all these obstacles that he's going to have. So it's cool. It's cool, cuz, like, it's cool, but it's scary at the same time. And I think it's good being. I think that it's good that it is scary, because as an adult, or I mean, as a parent, it does prepare you. Like, now I'm like, okay, well, I've got to make sure I'm a better man, and I've got to make sure I'm the right father figure for him growing up and my future kids. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question, cuz. But it's cool, cuz. It's really cool. And to preface on what Breeze, you know, us growing up, it was always going to be the out of our cousins, you know, Breezen and Holdall and Chosen and Uriah, and you know, all our cousins, and that it was always going to be the who was the first to have the kids, you know, like who was going to be the first one to be the dad. And it's cool now seeing that, seeing the switch in the cousins' lives now, and who they're becoming as grown men, um, now that they have kids and they have their own whānau, and you know, and that day-to-day life, and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool, cuz. I really enjoy it.
Nah, hard. It's been a huge. How do I word that? It's been a huge privilege, I guess, watching everyone's growth over the years as they've started to build their families. It was chosen first. Haoro, he's adopted, and he's got these kids that he's a part of their lives, and he's doing amazing things with Stevie. Shout out Stevie and Haoro and the kids there. And then it was Breezing not long after, and him and Remy and Brooke doing amazing things. And then it was Brendan, and then slowly followed by you, or pretty quickly followed by you, actually. So
Yep.
you guys, or you in that particular corridor just then, have covered a breadth of different things that you're worried about, that you fear, but you're also excited and embracing. But one thing I would like to ask you is, how's the growth of yourself been since the arrival of Kauriki?
Good question, cuz. Yeah, it's been eye opening, and I mean that in a way of, um, like I touched on before. It's in order to give my son all these traits and these really nice avenues of success, and to give him the best that he can be, I need to be the best that I can be as well, right? I need to work on myself, and we can always work on ourselves, and we can always improve ourselves, and we can always be better people. But um, it's how I think of it is I go through what I learned growing up, and what my dad taught me, and shout out to my dad because he did an amazing job. But it's always trying to be better, cuz it's always trying to make sure that any values I have within myself, or that me and my partner have, we talk through them and we work through them, so that when our kids go through that stuff, we have the tools and we have the experience to share with them. It's one of those things of I don't want them to make the same mistakes I made. So I'm glad that I went through them, so that when it comes to him going through that, I can give him, or before he goes through that, I can give him those tools and those that corridor, so that he doesn't make those mistakes. So it's sort of like making sure that he's ahead of it, so that he doesn't make those mistakes. He sort of knows about it before it sort of happens, if that makes sense, cuz. So it's changed me immensely, cuz. It's weird because, you know, when you're I guess just when it's you and your midi, right, or you and your wā, it's all good because it's just you two. But then, yeah, when you have a kid, it's sort of like, okay, for me, it was shit. I need to bring this boy up. You know, I need to give him everything he can in this world, that will, or all the tools that that I can give him, to make sure that he is fully equipped for anything that comes his way. And it won't always happen that way, Gus, because they go their own way and they do their own things and they make their own mistakes and all that. And I get that, but it's literally looking at myself in the mirror going, fuck, okay, are you all good? Because if you're not all good, then how are you going to teach him to be all good? You know what I mean? So it is a bit of a wake up call, and it is a bit of a look in the mirror to say, okay, yeah, am I the person that I want my son to be a role model for? So yeah.
And how do you make sure that you know you're all goods? Like, how do you make sure that you've got a space where when you come home you are all goods and you're in dad mode?
Mm. Yep. It's communication, cuz it's for me and my wahine. We it's fully been communicated. It's the communication barrier. It's literally speak how you feel in our household. Don't hold anything in. It's literally, yeah, it is speak how you feel, and we'll work through it, or we'll even arguments, right? Like, arguments are all good because if at the end of it you can get somewhere, like, okay, yeah, and you have mutual ground after that and go, yeah, I fucked up, babe, yeah, hard, I'm sorry, yeah, I know I fucked up, vice versa, right? So it's communication, I think, and having a household where there is no tension. Oh no, not tension, where there's no where it's unconditional, cuz where you feel fully at home, where there's no, oh, I don't want to bring that up because fucking it'll start a fucking fight, and where you're holding things in when you're bringing things home, where you're scared to say it because you know it's going to start a fight. It's having that open, I guess, open talk policy, not open door, but open talk policy in the household. Yeah, making sure you're good. Again, it can also be just, especially with our cousins, and we've always been really close, us cousins. So it's having that support from the cousins. Like, for instance, I mean, the amount of times I've come around your house and we've just fucking talked over shit because I just wanted a vent, or wanted to get shit off our chest. But having that support system as cousins is crucial too, and I think that helps with making sure you're all good. Yeah.
Me and Oh, what was I going to say? Building off of that open communication, clear and open communication, how do you go about developing a space like that in a relationship?
I think it's all to do with it's all to do with it's at the start, cuz it's making it clear. Um, Look, I'm gonna let's just be open and clear and be honest about our feelings. That's the only way I see around it is just saying, right, I'm gonna be we have open and clear and honest around our household. Whether you and the MIDI abide by that, well, that's a different story. But I mean, you have to mutually want the same things, right? You have to mutually want that for your relationship, right? You just need to mutually want to be open and honest about things, because then we all know what's like holding things in, cuz like holding that raru in you, and it eats at you, and then for some people, you get drunk and then it comes out, and then all of a sudden it all flows out, So it's about just stipulating that as a couple, and just saying, look, if we just be open and honest about it, we can talk about it. We can get through it. We can discuss, whatever, and then that's how I think, and that's how me and my missus are, bro. So I think that's sort of what has worked for us in our relationship now. So yeah.
And I think it definitely has worked. So this next one's great. So, how did you go about, or how did you even know you were ready to propose? Because now she's stuck with you, poor girl.
Yeah, she is stuck with me, cuz. Yep, she's stuck with me. Look, a lot of people say I'm punching, but I think she is. But hey, we'll leave that up to the people that know us. Nah. But in all honesty, she's a rock, bro. She's awesome. Palangi girl. Growing up in Waitara, went to school with all my best friends. Did kapahaka growing up in school. Was fluent throughout school, so like knows more Māori than I do. But just knows that kaupapa, cuz a person that I can easily talk to and that I consider. So we were actually best friends before we got together. Pardon me, and it's having that. For me, it was having that relationship with her before we got together. Then we had our son. She's an open book. I'm an open book, and what I was speaking on before, we do talk out all our stuff, and any darus that we have, or any tension or feelings that we have, we talk it out, because that's the best way for our whānau to do it, and for us to teach our son to be able to do that, we need to obviously do that as well. So but yeah, to the proposal, like it was I've never been I never thought I'd get married, cuz like I've always not been against it, but I've never just been like, it's not a thing that I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to getting married. I'm not looking forward to proposing. You know what I mean? So it wasn't that I wasn't against it, but I wasn't for it. It was just like, I'll just whatever happens happens. So and yeah, in this instance, I obviously proposed, as you said, and yeah, a lot of it is obviously what me and my I love my missus, obviously, blah blah blah, all that. But a big part of it also was I wanted her to have to share the same last name as her kids. I feel that if they carry your kid for 9 months, bro, and go through all the shit they go through, I feel that they deserve to have the last name as the child that they just bared for 9 months, right? And obviously continue to look after for the rest of their lives. So that was a part of it as well. It's not the only, but it is a big part of it. But yeah, so that's sort of why I did it, bro. I wanted our whānau to come together, and I wanted us to all be one, you know, and to share a name, and to all of us to be. It's weird. I sort of just felt like it brought us together a lot more as well. You know what I mean, bro? You know, it's the Harmy household now. You know, it's not Harmy / Colson, or you know what I mean. Like, I just feel like it was. I feel like it's. Yeah, I don't feel like it's fair that if after the woman bears the child for 9 months and has to go through all that after that as well. Obviously, everything after it, that they don't get to share the same last name as their kids. So, not that it was all of it, but it was a big part of it too, cuz. So that's sort of why I proposed, cuz.
No, that's mean, and I'm sure we'll get Sam's side of the story when we get her on the podcast. So no, that's beautiful though, my cousin. Yeah, I am not in a position where I can share that same sentiment yet. You know, I don't have any kids of my own, haven't gone through that process, but you know, it's always good to hear other people's sort of reasons why, and it's always like I say, it's always an an honor and a privilege to learn other people's experience and other people's stories, because you only live one lifetime. And I say this on almost every podcast, but you only live one lifetime. So you can't experience everything, but you can learn from people who have experienced some things, and you can take those on board and, you know, learn from other people's experiences. So that message right there was pretty cool to hear. And, you know, um, I kind of want to segue this into, as you've talked about, you know, your core family and your household right now. How do you want Kawariki to have that similar upbringing with his cousins as we did with, you know, you, me, Tiope, Chosen, Haoro, my brother, Modu, the rest of them, Caitlin, your sister. How do you want him to have that kind of, or do you want him to have that kind of upbringing?
Oh, 100%, cuz. It's well, I mean, it shows the people that you just rattled off, you know, like the which is just a smidge of our family, and the cousins that we grew up with. Um, we were we were lucky enough to grow up with the majority of our cousins growing up. Obviously, we had we had 7 Ware Street. We had Auntie Kath and Uncle Barry's, which was the homestead to a lot of us, and was the place of gathering for our whānau growing up. So we spent a shitload of time together, cuz. Thanks for doing the dishes, Holdall. But anyway, yeah. So it was. I think our upbringing was awesome, cuz. Look how close we all are today. That's all I can say. And for those that know, they know. But yeah, so for Kawariki, it's kind of funny now that I think about it, because you have Tiope, and you have Chose, and you have Tuhi, and you have Brendan, and you know, all our cousins now that are having kids. So there is cousins for him to grow up with, that do live in Waitara by Remy and the future. But yeah, I think it's super important, cuz I think that no one can. I think that there's things that you learn off your cousins when you're growing up with them that you just don't learn. You know, like it's the roughing up, it's the bull rush, it's the crying, it's the bloody having to do dishes with each other like we did. You know, right? You fuckers get in there and do the dishes. You know, pa hodl, hodl. But anyway, you know, it is those little things. It's the going up the shop with each other, and you've all got like $2, and you have to get lollies, and then you know, and then you fuck off down to the school, because all your fucking parents are drunk, and you know, and you want to fucking get away from them because assholes when they're drunk. But anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I reckon it's super important, cuz that Kawariki grows up with his cousins. Fortunate enough that he does have Daddy does have cousins growing up around the same age as him. So I think it is. I think it is, cuz it taught us a lot. Hey, I know that we wouldn't be as close as we are without that upbringing, cuz. So, and I think that goes for a lot of people that have grown up with their cousins. They can all say the same thing, and they all relate to that. And there is a bond that you have. It's just a bond that we've had since we were bloody 5 years old, and we were running around in fucking bare feet. So I think it's super important, cuz. So yeah, I hope he gets that as well.
Hard. Like, fuck, some of my fondest memories growing up was with all you fellas. I remember on the tramp at your place over at what was that street with the green?
The High Street.
Yeah, that's the one. That street. So yeah, I remember those days growing up there. I used to come over on a Friday, spend the old Friday, Saturday with the cuz, and then go home. But like I said on Breezen's podcast, we just went, whānau to whānau. We just get passed around over the weekends, so our parents could have that break, and we got to hang out, and that's where we formed that bond that we still continue today. And also, just as you touched on just before, I do want to say for the regular listeners, can we also say shout out to Breeze and congratulations on baby number 2. Remy will now have a sibling. We don't know the gender yet, but congrats Breeze and Brooke. You guys are amazing parents. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and next time you guys are home, we're going to catch up. But on to my next question, cuz. What's one of your fondest memories? Obviously, you've got a lot of pain and trauma surrounding whānau and not doing the dishes at Auntie Cass, because we had Uncle Dwayne, his boot looming up our ass if we weren't in there. So, what's some of your fondest memories growing up of all of us whānau?
That's crack up ass, cuz, straight up. Yeah, hard. Memories, cuz, far. That's holy. That's there is so much, cuz, straight up. Pardon me, but there is fondest memories. I can remember. Do you remember when we all went to watch the Jet Li the One? When oh, were you not there? Oh no, damn! Did I hit the spot? Oh shit! Hold on. Then I'll think of another one. Fondest memories, cuz, far. That's you've stumped me a little bit there, I've got to admit. But let me think. Fondest memories.
Well, because one of the ones, or the big ones for Breezen, was the old holiday programs. That was one of his go-tos.
Yeah, the old holiday program. Yeah, so how I remember the holiday program was that they come and pick us up at like fucking like 6 o'clock in the morning out. Like something fucked up like that, right? In the van, you hear toot 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 toot, and yeah. So that was fucking. We would have been like what 10? Like I think we were like fucking like end of Waitara East, maybe start of Manu. So end of primary, maybe start of intermediate, and a lot of it was like. So where my bed was, you could like I could open up my curtain, I could see down the driveway, so I could see the van, and most of it would be like. Fuck that. I'm not going. So that just toot for a bit. But yeah, the holiday program was cool. But as a cuzzy thing though, like a memory, I hate to say it, cuz, but it's literally just the Auntie Care stuff. It's the doing. Do you remember we used to do long jump by the fucking flowers? There was like a little bit like that big, and we used to do long jump, and then or even like flipping off the tramp or doing like weird ass shit like that. But it was literally because that was the time that we all got to come together. Was down at Waddy Street, down there. So yeah, I've got heaps, cuz, and I honestly can't think of one right now. Like as us as the cuzzies, but I know there's fuckloads, and yeah. Do you have one?
I've got a couple. One of them would have to be shucks. Was it a tangi when we were all at Orwai? I think. And there was that was when Levi was going through his pretty boy phase. Do you remember that time, G? We were playing like Spotlight. We were playing we're playing all the games around Orwai Marae. Yeah, surely you got a story from that time.
Yeah, I do remember that time now. I do remember that time. Down in like the fruit trees and that there, eh? Yeah. I do remember that time.
And remember the cuz got angry as out because we just kept hiding from him.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I've actually got a funny ass story. No, it's actually not that funny. Actually, no, it's actually not that funny. But
Tell it anyway.
it's more to do with Levi Hoodie. So he came to stay at our house one night, and mum and dad were out on the piss. But we had Quentin and Nick O'Carroll. They used to babysit us, and we took them down to the Waitara golf course, and we used to go down there, and there was a caretaker called Chad down there, and we used to piss them off. We'd like go down with a laser or a torch and like piss them off, start climbing the trees and shit, and just start biffing shit at them, just so that they'd chase us, just because we were little fucking idiots like that. But yeah, so then we took Levi down there. Yeah, we were running around climbing the trees and that, and then Chad got on his gator, started chasing us, but we gapped Levi. Like boy, if you better keep up, or you're gonna be left behind now. And then if you get caught, that's your fault. Yeah, so we gapped it back to my house. We were hiding, blah blah blah. And then Levi got back, and then we started fucking So we closed up the house, and then Levi got home, and then Quentin and Nick were outside and started throwing shit at him, blah blah, and he started crying and like blah, blah. Hey, do that to you, my cousin Levi. I love you, but yeah, there was little things like that, cuz that you did as cousins that now I look back on them like, hey, yeah, boy, what are you up to?
I call it growth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a better man for it now, I bet.
Nah. Oh, what about shucks. Why don't you tell us some of your stories about when you and your eyes? Because before this guy got heavily involved with alcohol, he used to be quite athletic. He was up there in almost all the sports. So why don't you tell us some of those uh, sports stories?
Oh, cuz nah. You've oversold me there, cuz he was definitely not that guy, but just I guess just to preface what you were saying, one thing I love about Waitara is that for me, I feel like it's per capita. I feel like one of the most talented towns in the world, straight up. Um, fuck, this town just breeds immense talent. Um,
Brotherhood, if you're not an athlete, you're like a scholar or you're a business owner, like this place is underrated as fuck.
100%, cuz definitely. So I think Waitara just breeds talent, and it starts from all the way back to our mum and dad, or to our parents, but even before them, obviously. But yeah, so growing up in this town, it's everyone was good at everything, bro. Like the level of competition was crazy, because everyone was competitive as fuck too. So yeah, I'm your bro, but fuck, everyone wants to be the best at everything. Everyone wants to be the best rugby player. Everyone wants to be the best league player. Everyone wants to be the best at athletics. Everyone wants to be softball, touch, soccer, what have you. Um, so there's a lot of competition growing up in this town, and which is obviously good, and that's why we've seen a lot of people go on to represent heavily from this town. So that prefaces the sports thing, right? I was never that guy, but it was it was what I'm trying to say here. Growing up in this town with the sports, you kind of just end up in those places, like repping, like trials for teams and stuff like that. I kind of went a bit of an out of it way, where, because, well, not out of it, but um, for because my mum's side, they're heavily involved in surf life saving, cars. So I kind of went the surf life saving route as well, which was fucking amazing. Um, it was a lot of you trained all season, and then like at nationals, after nationals, they'd have like the after party right at nationals, and because everyone had trained so hard through the season, on the after party, every cunt would get fucked up, and then everyone would be playing right up, cuz fucking spewing, blah blah blah, and you know all that fucking out of it shit. But yeah, but yeah, I don't really know how to say more, cuz like it was Waitara's just got that it, bro, when it comes to sports. Like they fucking, for some reason, our town just carves. We've always been super good at softball. We've always been super good at touch and at league and at rugby and stuff like that. And there's the saying, that goes around that everyone hates Waitara and Taranaki, um, and a lot of it is just because we just like. And not to be an asshole, but like Waitara are really good at what they do, and for such a small town, a lot of people don't understand that. So I love Waitara. Nah.
Nah, same. And well, this is my perspective of it anyway. So growing up, hated the place, wanted to get out of this place, left this place, and had nothing but love for the place. So it's kind of like that, eh? And I know you've spent some time in Wellington and Perth before returning home and building a life here. What was some of that journey and like, and how did that attribute to who you are today?
Yeah, dude, right, cuz. Yeah, I think I was 19 when I moved down to Wellington, chasing the ex, because I'd fuck shit up and I wanted to go down and fucking try and pitch it together, but she was like, nah, Bolt, I'll meet someone else way better than you, asshole, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, sweet as then. I'll just fucking smoke knob pot and go crazy for fucking 6 months with my bro Kane, yeah, so me and my brother Kane, we did that for 6 months down, and that was our Wellington buzz. But yeah, the Perth buzz was awesome because, if I'm being honest, I just got stuck in a rut in Waitara. I just wasn't going anywhere, cousin. They really just didn't have anything going for me. And Nick and Quinton, who I just talked about previously, that with the Levi story, they lived in Perth, cuz, and the cuzzy Nick had a room available. He's just like, fuck, cuz, fuck it, get over here, bud. Like, you're doing nothing there. Come over, see what it's about. So I ended up moving over there, and it was fucking wicked, cuz. So I moved over there by him, got a mahi, just through job finding agency, cuz, just at a local wood mill there, um, and then I ended up coming back and getting one of the bros, Kane Watson, ended up bringing him over, because he was in the same route. So, radio bro, come over, and and I got you a pad and all that kind of stuff. So he come over, and then we eventually brought Breezen over, or Tiope, and then Chalice come over. One of our other bros, Chalice a girl, so he come over too, and then we sort of just formed this little household. We had our own house, and which is us four, and then Breezen and Brooke moved on, and so Perth was awesome, cuz. Can I say that it was constructive towards my life plan? No. Like, I just partied and fucking did the stuff, partied away 3 years of my life, but it was fucking amazing, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Going through that made me want to come home. Yes, I partied away 3 years of my life, but at the end of it, I realised what we have here in Waitara, and my sister had just had kids. Her and her man were wanting to move home, so for me, I was like, I want to be able to be around my niece and nephew when they as they're growing older, and be a good uncle to them, and show them all the things that I can show them. And so it felt better. I miss the family, all that kind of stuff, because you get homesick and all that kind of stuff. And it's one of those things where you don't realize what you got until it's gone. And I do feel like Waitara is that place for a lot of people. When you do move away, because we grew up here, so it's like, oh, fuck, it's just the same old fucking shit. It's, blah 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 blah. And then you move away and you go, holy fuck, well, Waitara is mean, or like, it does have a lot of things that when someone wants to settle down, like for myself, where I just wanted to come home and settle down and start a family and all that kind of stuff. Like, that is the spot. That has all my family there, and it is the place that I want to bring my kids up. And so Perth was awesome, cuz. But yeah, I definitely did not do anything to help myself there.
And not to play devil's advocate or like play what ifs, but obviously your life would be so different. But do you think if you had stayed in Aussie but moved to the East Coast, you would have like stayed there longer, or do you think that it was just time to come home and
I think that I should have moved to the East Coast. Like, this is my personal opinion. I think that I should have moved to the East Coast probably after the first year that I was in Perth. I probably should have moved there when Uriah moved there, one of our other cousins. Hopefully you get him on the podcast soon. Hopefully that, but anyway. Yeah, so I do.
Does he even have a laptop?
No, I don't. I really don't think so. But you know him anyway. But hey, Auntie Dale has one, so he could probably use that. Or and Kirsty.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yes, I do. I wish. I don't have any regrets, but I do wish that I did have a stint over there. It wouldn't have. Like, I'm glad I did move home when I did, because I moved home for So like a goal, not for everyone, but for most people, a goal to moving to Australia is so that you, pardon me, so that you better yourself, and that you, at the end of the day, you get the money, or you get a better job, so then you can move home, and you probably you're better off than when you moved, right? So that's obviously the better goal, right? Because if everyone could have that, but here, obviously, no one would leave, right? So yes, I do wish that I did it. I do wish that I did have a stint in the East Coast, especially with Cuzzy Uriah and Brother Geordie and all those kind of people, and obviously Auntie Kirsty and Dale and that. But I'm super glad I did, and I'm super glad that I moved home when I did, because that was just my time. So yeah.
And hard out, like everything plays out like that. Like now you have a whānau, you've got your son, you've got your beautiful fiance. You're living good back home now, and I'm the same. I was supposed to move to Australia with him, I think a year or so prior to him moving over. I think no, a few years actually. But yeah, it didn't come into fruition. Like me and him, we bet hard or that we'd both move over there, but we didn't, because we were just like, nah, fuck that's stupid. We got nothing to go over there for. So we were like, nah, fuck that. And and then it worked out for me, and it's worked out for him. He's now over there anyway, and he's earning serious bank. He has a beautiful fiance. He has a baby on the way who may be born by the time this episode drops. So fuck, Merry Christmas, my cuz. Much love to you and your whānau. But yeah, and then I ended up at university, now a master's student. Never thought that would ever happen. So yeah, like you say, everything pans out for a reason, and we do things for a fucking reason. And we end up where we're supposed to end up, I think, at the end of the day. Everything's not planned, but those opportunities that we didn't take elsewhere just lead us to a new opportunity. No doors ever close. It just opens up a pathway to a new episode, new season, just different directors.
Same shit.
Yeah.
Same shit, different wharepaku, cuz. That's a saying that Te Whitu McLeod told me a couple of years ago. Actually, fucking over 10 years ago, yeah. Which I thought was quite funny. You say same shit, different day, but yeah, for him it was same shit, different wharepaku, eh? And it is sort of that kind of kaupapa, eh?
Hard out. And so I guess the segue, because now you guys have learned a whole lot about Stephen and his history and how he's become the man he is today. So a few things I'd like to ask is, now like that we're in the festive season, what's on the cards for you next year, my cuz?
You know what? I knew this was going to come up. I knew like what's your goals for next year? Cuz like fuck, what like you got big year next year. And I hate to disappoint, cuz like I do have goals, cuz like I really do. Um, mahi wise, I want to get qualified next year. But in the grand scheme of things, we talked about this too. One of the kaupapa for me is te reo, is learning the reo. Especially, I've got to be honest, especially now that I have had my son. I want him to grow up knowing, that's another thing of him being successful and better and happy, and it's him knowing his culture through and throughout. So a big kaupapa for me next year would be to, like we talked about, would be to is introducing a program into my mahi, where I work, that we talked about through Te Atarangi, and I don't know if I'm going to say that, but yeah, so it's introducing a reo program at my mahi, so we spend a third of our time at work, right? So it'd be, I'm sort of thinking, okay, well, if I can incorporate an hour of learning te reo a week into that, then I'm sort of doing mahi and learning te reo at the same time. So it's just trying to make it, but also for my colleagues and for those that do want to learn it, have that avenue as well, and have that access to learn that to learn the reo. So that's sort of one of them as well, cuz. But other than that, it's mainly just living, cuz, and watching my son grow, and just making sure that I can be the best that I can for him, cuz. Because at the end of the day, if I like it or not, he's going to be a lot of his characteristics are going to be because of me, cuz, and they're going to come from me. So that's sort of it, cuz. Really, yeah.
No, those are mean aspirations and goals for next year. I mean, it is a Christmas episode. You have to ask, and that's why we're having a few beers on the Christmas episode. And again, whānau, I know that there's a lot of people out there that are against drinking, and there are a lot of people who have substance abuse. So if you are one of those people and you do need help, call 0800 787 797. There's a drug and alcohol helpline. They're open 24/7. So we're just having a couple beers. Like I said, when I had Barry on the episode, that this is just Christmas. Calm down. It's Christmas. We finished work for the year, so this is just us, just relaxing, unwinding for the year. And as you can tell from the festive attire, so that number again is 0800 787 797, and that's the that's the drug and alcohol helpline. If you ever need that assistance, don't ever feel like it's beneath you or you're too good for that. If you are struggling, it is important to understand where you are in your life, and if it is becoming a problem, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm always available. You can always reach out on my 99Dreams podcast. Steven's available. You can always hit me up on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or if you just want to email me, it's 99Dreams. No, it's Raori at 99Dreams.com. So if you need anything, reach out. I'm always available. Always available. I'm never too big. So moving into that next topic, my cuz, how do you manage your own mental health? Like, it's a big thing at the moment. There's a lot of people talking about men's mental health and the importance of understanding when it's okay to be not okay. So what do you do to manage that?
Good question, Cuzzy. We've grown up in a world where the man needs to be the man, and part of me in the and you got to be staunch, and you got to be tough, and don't tell me that shit, boy. Fuck, I don't want to. I don't want to know about it, right? Which was the era that our fathers grew up in, right? Where it wasn't okay. I guess it wasn't okay back then to have those mental issues, or to not mental issues, but to have those demons in your mind, because those things that and so it was always suppressed, right? And it was ultimately led to, dare I say, it led to suicide, because like a lot of people. I've talked to my father about it, and he's mentioned a lot of, not a lot, but mentioned of some of his friends that have committed, cuz, and it's a real thing, and it's a real thing in today's society of young men going through that and doing that to themselves. And a lot of it is because they can't reach out, right? They don't have that support system or that person that they can talk to about those things. Going back onto what we were talking about, or what we were talking about as cousins, and how we've grown up together, and why we have the bond we have today. To me, that is why, or that's how I feel for myself, that I can come and talk to any one of you guys, any one of my cousins, and about my rarus, or about my mental demons, and all those things, and not feel afraid, and not feel judged, and not feel anxiety about those things. So going, that obviously prefaces to why I want my son, like we were talking about before, him to grow up with his cousins, because forming those bonds at a young age really does help you as you grow into a man, and you do grow up, because those are the people that you trust, and those are the people that you would die for. Like, I die for my bros. Or I die for my family. It's creating that bond. It's creating that brotherhood. Even though you're cousins, it's creating that bond. So for me, with my mental, it's hard to say, cuz, because I can only speak for myself, but I'm not I need to say it in a way, but I'm not afraid to talk to the certain people in my whānau and in my friend group about those things. It's always been a big thing for even with our whānau too, but even with my closest friends. I talked about Chalice and Kane and Te Whetū and all that. It's not. They don't judge you for that stuff. Like, it's welcomed in our friend group. It's welcomed in our whānau. For you to come and talk to us about things. We'll love you. We'll fucking hug you. We'll talk to you. We'll sit down and we'll talk it out. Like, we'll talk it out. And if you want to have a beer, we'll have a beer. If you want to, whatever. It's about just being comfortable and having that support system that you trust, I guess. And it can just be the one person, but I guess it's hard for me, cuz, because at the end of the day, I do have a really good support system, and I know a lot of people don't. So for me, it's I know that I have, like yourself, for instance, right? I can come and talk to you about anything, and we'll sit down and we'll just talk it out, right? Vice versa. So, and it can be with any of my cousins and any of my friends, right? So it's just about, I don't really know how to say it for someone who's not in that, who doesn't have that, because I don't have that. I haven't been in that situation, so I don't know how to say it for someone else. But for me, it's just being open and honest, but making sure that you have that support system. So yeah, it's sort of a tricky one, I guess, cuz. But for me, it's good, because I've always just been an open book, hard on your sleeve kind of person. So yeah.
And because it's tough now, because it's Christmas time, and it's a time where a lot of people are under a lot of pressure. You've got to buy gifts for everyone. You've got to have the house looking amazing, and you've got to have the fucking perfect Christmas because your in-laws are coming through, or whatever the fuck it is. There's a lot of pressure, and even for those people that have to take time off work, but they haven't accumulated enough leave to ensure that they're paid over that. So there's a lot of stress over this period, and a lot of people are going through stuff. And so, yeah, if you are struggling, reach out. I know there are so many different organizations, but if you just need to talk, I'm always available. I know there are different organizations that are always available, but please don't hesitate to reach out. Stephen touched on it. I know it is hard to build those support groups that you can just lean on, but there are organizations out there that won't judge you. You can call in anonymously. You don't have to be like, "Yep, my name is Rawari, and I'm broke this Christmas." You have options available, and I was going to ask you, Cuz, but you said you're not quite sure because it just happened organically, building your own support system. But if you do know how you could build a support system.
I guess what I guess what I want to say is it's okay to not be okay. I think that's a, I think that's like, yeah, I think that's a thing that 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 that's a good message is that it is okay to not be okay. Like there's been times I've done counselling myself, and I've done um, gone through things like that, and it's okay to not be okay. Like everyone goes through their lows and their highs, and it's okay to not be okay, and it's fully fine to, especially I got to, I know for everyone, but especially for males, you don't have to be staunch, and you don't have to have this hard persona. Um, Being vulnerable, I think, is being more of a man than you could ever be. I think that's more of a man than being the tough guy. I think being vulnerable is is a good trait, and it's something that you can then pass on to other people. Yeah, I just
Being vulnerable is honourable.
there it is, boy. Fuck yeah, 100%, cuz I totally agree with that. With creating a support system, I guess it just starts with who you have around you and who you think you can trust. If you don't, well, then the helplines that the Kazi has just mentioned are perfect for that. But it is my message, I guess, Kaz, would be it's okay to not be okay. And not everyone is okay all the time, you know. So it's like, okay, do we put this facade on like I've just navigated this life and I'm fucking super fine all the time? Hell no. Like no one is, and we all go through shit, and we all got baggage, and we all got our personal demons, and it's fucking perfectly okay because it's human as fuck to me. And if you can have that support system, awesome. But if you don't, well, there is places that have that support system for you, like Rawadi just said. So yeah, I think it's a good topic that that you touched on, guys, and definitely one that needs to be recognised.
Yeah, we definitely have to touch on it, just especially because it's the holiday season, and a lot of people sweep under the rug a lot of the problems that go on, and Christmas isn't that affordable. I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas because it's over commercialized. It's mainly for fucking big corporations to take all of your money just so you can satisfy the fucking needs of a TV show or a movie. You're trying to live up to that dream. You're watching a perfect fucking movie, and those movies are fake. That's a set. Those presents aren't real. They don't get to keep them. So don't try and live your life like it's a fucking movie. If it's not within your means, man, like for me, the perfect Christmas is just going to be chilling at home with the whānau. And like, it doesn't even have to be an elaborate feed. It can be, fuck, I don't care if it's a couple of pies in the oven now. As long as, I'm around good company, I don't give a fuck. I'd like, straight up, don't even get me a gift. I'm not a big fan of gifts because then you feel obliged to get someone else a gift. And to be honest, the greatest gift you could give me is, feed someone else. Buy a gift for someone else. Like go down to a homeless shelter, feed the homeless, or
Just your present takers.
yeah, like a gift is great. Like I'm not gonna be super ungrateful and say, "Oh wow, great, you got me an iPhone. Whoop de doo. Like, this sucks." No, I'm never gonna be like that. But you know, there's other people out there that aren't having a great Christmas. So if anyone wants to get me anything ever in the like lifetime that I live, just think about someone else. Like I don't need anything.
I love that, cuz. I super love that. Yeah, yeah. I'm on that co-papa with you there, cuzzy. It's yeah, the ideal Christmas for me would just be chilling at home with my fiance and my son, and put a bit of a meat in the smoker or something, and just let it sit for 8 hours, and I can fucking go in and out of sleep on the couch if I need to, or just chill out, cuz boy can jump in the tramp or on a slide or whatever, cuz yeah, I'm fully on board with you on that. And if not, just go and chill with some whānau for a bit, have a few beers, or get on the piss then. Fuck it, who cares? It's an excuse for us to get on the piss. Fuck it, all good. We love it.
Like it's a day off. Don't feel so much pressure to live this fantasy lifestyle that you just can't afford. As if it's outside of your means, then that's all good. And sometimes if you can't buy your child, that PlayStation 5 that they've been wanting for the past year and a half, it's okay. Like it's okay. Like I can't afford a fucking PS5, and I don't have kids. I don't have any other dependents.
Neither can I,
You
cuz.
know. So, whānau, don't feel the pressure this Christmas. Just enjoy the season, enjoy the time off, and just enjoy being around whānau. Which leads me into our next segment. What is one of your dreams, my cuz? Because this is the 99 Dreams podcast. If you could hand me that box just down there on the floor, I do this every week. It's the dream box. This is where
Dreambox.
yeah. So on the box it says, "Always remember when they doubted you." And I love that sentiment. It's so cool because so many times in our lives people doubt us. And in here, all of my guests, the pink ones are my guests, the green ones are me. So all of my guests have come on and shared at least one dream. They might have multiple, but they've shared at least one dream they'd love to achieve. And one day I'd love to put it up on this back wall here behind me of everyone just achieving their dreams. So in this box, dreams don't die. They just get stored. So this is like a storehouse for dreams. A lot of mine are in here. There's some ridiculous ones. Like I always tell everyone, just because they're like, oh, I don't know what my dream will be, but one of my dreams is to one day own a McLaren, and I'm $349,000, $349,684 away from owning a McLaren. So there's no dream going to be more outrageous than that. But then I've got other ones, like I'd love to write a book one day, outside of a thesis. I've written a dissertation, an honors dissertation. I'm writing a thesis. So, yeah, what kind of a dream would you like to have in this box here?
Cuz I'm super simple as fucking fuck now. Like I'm big ass 30 now. Cuz how do I even say it? It's a dream. Like my only dream, right? I'm gonna say it's probably not gonna fit on that thing, but my dream is to have a few acres, a lifestyle block, and just to have like a spot where my family can chill and just be away from the world, and I can go fishing, and I can go hunting, and I can like do like the Kiwi dream, I guess you could say. Like have that lifestyle block where you live by the sea and you can do all that, like that good shit, cuz you can fucking go, you got a garden, you got a few animals, which if you had asked me 10 years ago, cuz I would have been like, that would have never been my answer. It would have been, I want to be rich as and like living in Dubai or some shit, like, which is buzzy as, because you think about it, like, through your 20s, it really does change, at 20 to 29 going on 30, that's a drastic, like, you would be surprised at people's answers, if there was a thing where like everyone at 20 said what their dream was, and then everyone at 29 or 30 said what their dream was. Totally different, I reckon, anyway. Like,
It's funny you say that, because I think a majority of my listeners are my friends who are all around. I think they're about 26 and under, max 26. But I think the realest dream that I ever got told, and Breezen also reiterated this, was when Barry came on the show, aka Bear King. He came on the show and he said, you know what his dream is, cuz? The realest thing I've ever fucking heard in my life.
well,
And, I was waiting for something to, like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. He just said, I want to make it to my 30th birthday.
wow, powerful. That's powerful. And yeah, that's that is a biggie though. It is, like, yeah, I want to survive the year, right? Hey, yeah, that's a biggie there, cuz he fucking hell. Ooh.
But I love it though, because it's so fucking real. There's no bullshit. He's not saying, oh yeah, I want a Lamborghini, I want a mansion in fucking the North Shore, I want a piece of Waiheke Island. He's just, I want to make it to 30. And that's only three years away for the bro Barry. 3 years or 4 years, one of the two. I can't remember, because he said he's either 26 or 27. He doesn't know. He's living on a fake passport. I'm just kidding. Love the bro. Shout out the bro. He's just like, yeah, bro, because tomorrow's not promised, and if I make it, I make it. I'd love to make it. And with a lot of men's mental health these days, not a lot of us Tāne are making it that old. So you got to be thankful for making it to the next day. Every day you got to wake up and be thankful. But yeah, so I appreciate your dream. I summarized it a bit I summarized it to owning some land and a whare for you and your whānau.
But let's not go into that. Let's not get into a whole nother kettle of fish, cuz that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Holy heck, we'll be here for another 3 hours if we go down that rabbit hole.
Don't wind me up, cuz I'm here for it. All my friends know that too. They know I love arguing, especially about that stuff. But anyway, the next thing I have for you, my cuz, is if you could go back to, let's go with 21-year-old Stephen. If you could go back in time and tell 21-year-old Stephen, my bro, here's some advice, or whatever you want to tell him, what would you tell 21-year-old Stephen?
Oh, cuz I got to be that guy, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be the man I am. I see that cheesy bullshit, right? That fucking cheesy shit, right? But I couldn't, cuz obviously everyone, like how mean would it be to go back to 21 with our mind, right? I've always, me and my friends have always talked about it. It's like, imagine how mean it would be to go back to when you were like 16 with the mind that you have now. Like, yeah, we'd all be fucking sportsmen or fucking millionaires or whatever. We'd invent Google or whatever, so
I'd be a Bitcoin millionaire.
100%.
Would have owned all of Tesla.
There you go, right? Like, yeah, you just wait till the time that Tesla opens, and then you just put like fucking 20 grand on Tesla stocks, and then you've fucking cracked it. Or you've got your mind now, so you'd just be like an all black because you're 16, but you're with a 30 mind, and you're super mean and everything. Yeah, but no, I don't think I would, cause like I was a totally different man then than I am now, but I'm glad that I was, because yeah, I hate to be that guy that has that answer, cuz, but I don't think I would have anything for him, cuz, because that's just who I was then, like, to be a fucking cliche weirdo, but
Nah, it's not cliche at all. You're not the first to do that. There are other people who are really content and happy with their lives right now. Like when Sam Baxter came on the show, he said, "Bro, nah, to be honest, there's nothing I would change. He loves his life now. He loves the people he's around and his career path." And I was like, "Bro, that's amazing. Nah, yeah, keep it as the way it is. Because if you're happy where you are, then there's no reason to go back and change anything, right? You don't want to alter the course of history." But I always just like to ask that, just in case there are people who would like to give some advice, and there's always people listening on.
so the thing there, cuz, is that, like, for me, when I think about that, is that why I wouldn't change anything. It's the things that I learned after 21, cuz, that if I was to tell that person to do something different, I may not have learned, and I may not have learned those experiences or been through those experiences to learn those life lessons that probably 21 to 30, though, that 9 years that has taught me. So that's another, there's a sort of those reasons why. Nah, I'm glad I fucked up the way I did, and I'm glad I was that. I was what I was back then, because it helped me to be who I am today. And then obviously, to preface that, has led me on to be able to be hopefully a better father, through going through those experiences. So yeah.
What shakes us is what makes us, right, bro? You can't you can't be who you are without going through the struggles of life, and you'll never understand how to walk in someone else's shoes until you've been in them yourselves. And 9 times out of 10, you could never ever walk in someone else's shoes. Those shoes are too worn out and too beat up for you to ever wear. So never ever put yourself in someone else's shoes, and never ever try to be someone you're not. And yeah, like you said, don't try to change who you are, because who you were back then could never wear the shoes of who you are today. And so that's some great advice. That's some great advice there, my cuz. Well, then let's go on the flip, and let's see, what would you tell yourself in 10 to 5 or 5 to 10 years? So say you look back on this episode in 5 to 10 years, what would you tell future Stephen right now?
Oh, fuck. I
And
hope you brought.
this is one of the hardest questions most people find on this bloody podcast, is that.
I hope you brought more property. I hope you bought that land. because that shit's only going to get more expensive, cuz. In fact, I just want a little bit. I just want a little bit of land, cuz. I just want like a fucking bro. Just give me an acre. I'll be sweet as with an acre. Fuck. So I hope you bought that land, our Stephen at 40. Fuck yeah. Because if you haven't, you're fucked. Hey, you better make sure that your son's like cracked it and he's gonna buy it for you. So then again, hey, you better make sure that you raised them right and nah. But you know what I mean, cuz.
10-year-old Kaldik is just a multi-millionaire. He's a
Yeah.
social media superstar, crypto king.
Cuz you'd be fucking surprised these days with those youngsters. Oh, fuck's sakes. I think there's like people like with fucking YouTube channels that like have like fucking 50 million subscribers out and they fucking review toys. Like the parents review toys out. Like what the fuck? They open up a toy and like show you how it works and like say it's all good and they got like what the fuck? These bastards are getting bank out. Like they're getting like 20 grand a month because they're just reviewing toys out. And all they got to do is go buy a fucking $50 toy out and then just like review it and like show how it works and say that it's cool or not. And then hit the like button, subscribe. Love you heaps. Love you heaps. Yeah, like, love it though. Love it. Like super, super glad that they can do that. But like, what the fuck?
It's always that one, eh? Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. The bell icon for notifications.
Crack up, our fucking. Because I don't have any socials, cuz. Like I just YouTube. You know, I just love watching heaps of people on YouTube. Or like, I do a lot of my all I do is YouTube. And not that I'm on it all the time, but like yeah, I don't have socials, so the only thing I do watch is YouTube. So fair enough. Like there'd be a lot of people like that out there that a lot of their day is not Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever it is, just YouTube. Like a lot of people watching shorts and all that kind of shit.
And we do have a YouTube channel. It's 99Dreams NZ. We have shorts. We've got this podcast. We've got everything. If you only listen on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon, or Google, frick, check out our YouTube. And we've also got a TikTok. I'm shamelessly promoting because I need some followers because my TikTok's looking poor right now. Nah, I'm kidding.
Nah, you good, cuz. You good.
Nah, I'm just super appreciative of all the support already anyway. Like all the guests that come on the show, everyone that likes or views the post. I'm super appreciative of all the support always. The next question I will ask you then, my cuz, is as we sort of continue to grow, we continue to evolve, what is something that you'd like to see within our whānau as a whole? What would you like to see different than what's already happening with our whānau? There's a personal one.
A lot of it is already sort of happening, but it's just more time together. It's not having the once like a annual thing, you know. It's having like let's just get together and have a potluck, or you know, let's just randomly get together every month or every 2 or 3 months or whatever. You know, it's getting together more often. For those that know and those that don't, you know, we got our Waitara whānau and then we got our Hāwera whānau. But the connectors, you know, it's about growing the connection between the two, because we are one whānau, but we have a Hāwera whānau and we have a Waitara whānau, you know. So it's making sure that we get together more often than not, and it's not just tangis like normal, or it's not just that one annual thing that we all get together. It's just having it regular, right? It's just so it becomes normal. So it just becomes every first Sunday of every month we get together and we at a park or whatever, and the kids can go fucking run around and do whatever, right?
So, my cuz, another thing that I'd like to build off of, like all of your life's experience, would you ever consider starting your own business? Because you've got a lot of mātauranga, you've got a lot of experience, you've got a lot of knowledge in a lot of different spaces. So would you ever consider starting your own business in anything?
I would, yes. Fuck knows what it would be. I've got I'll give you this, guys. Like I've got a little bit of a, you know, you know how there's, you know, the YouTube buzz, right? And there's the vlogging and all that kind of stuff, right? So I would. So what I've thought about is that, um, you know how there's journals, you know, like you remember Auntie Kath, you know, sorry, Uncle Barry, he kept a journal, right? And then when he passed, rest in peace, Uncle. Auntie Kath, you know, she used to stay up and read his journal, eh? You know, and you know that was like a thing, eh? Right? So there's journals. Um, I I I don't really want to do the YouTube buzz, right? But I want to. How I want to vlog is for my son. So it would be on my fishing journeys, and as I break into this kaimahi buzz in this, you know, in this gathering buzz, as a lot of Kiwis do in Aotearoa, and there's a lot of channels and stuff like that. I would more want to do a vlogging type of thing for my son, and what I mean by that is that um, it's a journal for my son and for my future kids and for my wahine if I do pass. You know, it's that kind of thing that um, my kids can look back on, and there's a big, you know, there's a backlog of journals, but it's in a vlog form. Of things that I'm doing, like, you know, like of fishing adventures and stuff that we're doing as a family. So then, you know, when I do eventually pass, that, you know, they can sit there and there's this journal of memories that they will eventually be into as kids, right? So when my son gets, you know, to what 4, 3 or whatever, you know, he'll start being in those journals, so that when he's, you know, whatever age I pass it, he's like, oh shit, far out, you know, like that was me and Dad. We were down Waitara fishing, or we were out on the kayak, or we were out on the boat fishing or diving or whatever. You know what I mean? So trying to create that kind of journal, vlog journal buzz for my kids and my wahine, um, going forward. You know what I mean? So instead of having it as a channel, so to speak, I'm more just keeping it as a personal journal for my kids and for my wahine, so that they can look back on it and go, far out. Oh my god, you know, they can watch themselves as 3 or 4 rolling around and we're fishing, and, you know, we're doing things like that, so they can look back on that um, when they're older. Yeah, so that's sort of that buzz for me, cuz. Yeah. Yeah, you did right, cuz. Like a in a cool vulnerable side of it for me that I thought about was that, because I'm just getting into a lot of that stuff, right? I've fished for a long time, so I know how to fish. Um, but well, you know, I've just bought a kayak. You know, I got fishing kayak, so, you know, like, you know, like the like most of the YouTubers, you know, around Aotearoa, you know, like, you know, diving off the kayak, and you go now getting a kai and spearfishing and stuff like that. I'm super new to that, and have no experience in that kind of stuff. So showing that vulnerable side, in the vlogging side of it to my kids, showing that vulnerability, I'm hoping that that again can teach them some things that, oh yeah, Dad was doing it, but he didn't know what he was doing, but he was okay with it, and he told us he didn't know what he was doing, and it was, you know, it's showing them that it's okay, that just give it a try, all good, fuck, sweet as, and then hopefully throughout the years, hopefully years that I get to do it, they can start seeing, oh fuck, Dad ended up being super cool, like super good at what he was doing, ended up being a real good spear fisherman and diver and all that kind of stuff. So um, yeah, the vulnerability side of it for me, in terms of my kids, um, is a good thing. I don't know about you, but you know, like that bloody that organ idea, buzz that the brother
Te aorere.
tell.
Te aorere Puwharangi. I need you on the show, brother. Hit me back. I slid in those DMs.
Yes, cuz, so yeah, that te aorere and that, you know, like that's a, I love that kaupapa, right? Because it's like, yeah, fuck it, let's just get in there and do it. Like, it's okay. Again, it's the okay not to be okay type of buzz, cuz, where it's okay to, like, not everyone grew up super fucking hunty boy and, like, not super hunting fella and kai gather person. You know, it's okay to not be like that, and, like, it's all right to try it out. And, like, yeah, fuck, I don't know it all, but let's just get in there and give it a go out. And then, 5-10 years later on the track, you're a master at it, and now you're teaching other people how to do it, your offspring or whatever, have you. So that's another cool thing about that buzz, cuz, about the just vlogging it for my kids and my wā. I also feel like it's that, because it's hard as to talk to a camera. Like it's why I'm drinking heaps, because this is so new to me, cuz, like, and like, it's cool just getting this time to, like, just feel it out. But I can picture myself, with the bloody thing there, like I'm talking to the camera and I'm like talking to my son and my whānau, like buzzy ears, you know what I mean, cuz? So it's cool. It's cool new learnings, cuz, and it's cool new experiences. So it's cool.
One thing I do know about talking to the camera, and I don't do enough vlogs. Sorry, I enjoy them more than the podcast. Not that I don't enjoy the podcast. I love the podcast, but just in terms of when it comes to the editing, I love doing the vlogs more, because there's different things. You got the B-roll, you've got the stuff that you've talked on, and then you've got other stuff that you can do voice over for. So that's why I love doing vlogs. But I don't do enough of it because there's just not enough things to do in Taranaki. But talking to the camera, it's just a confidence thing, because like when I first started, I had held the camera down here when I was out in public, and all you can see is chins and shit, and that's not very attractive, so you got to try and hold it up here. But then when people look at you, they're like, what's that guy doing? We're like, that's strange, no one does that. All I can say, my cousins, when that time comes that you do pick up a camera, and I do recommend getting one of these Sonys. These are a vlogging specific camera. This is the the EVZ10. That's what this is, and it's designed specifically for vlogging. And yeah, so then you can buy different lenses and you get more stuff on it. But yeah, Sony's a great camera to go off of, and especially if you're a beginner. But yeah, the first thing you need to do is just get confident talking to it, and that's what I was telling you before we started. Just look in the barrel of it, like. It takes a little while because you get a little bit timid, and you're like, I'm not even, I just want to see. I want to see everything. I want to see everything. It's like, shit. But nah, you'll do me, my cousin. I'm pretty sure everyone, just post it. Post it publicly. You'll gain a following, and, that'll open up doors for endorsement and stuff like that. Because, like you say, Aotearoa is filled with hunting, fishing, just kai gathering. But not a lot of people know how to do it. And it's okay to make mistakes. You don't have to be fucking outdoors with Jeff. You don't have to be that elite level going and catching crays on your first trip. Bro, the best thing in life.
Be Watson Acres.
Yep. The best thing in life is to fail at it first and learn why you failed. Get better at it. Because shit, life ain't all fucking rainbows and butterflies and compromise and moves.
Ain't that the truth, cuz? Ain't that the fucking truth? Holy heck.
Fuck yeah. So, another thing that I've just introduced to the show as well, my cuz, is what's a question that you wish I'd asked, and how would you answer it?
A question that I wish you had asked. That's a fucking goodie, cuzzy. But okay, a question I think you should ask was, fuck, I don't even know how, cuz. Fuck. Question that I think that you should have asked would have been, where do you see yourself? No, wait. Scratch that, chat, scratch that. Where? Oh, no, wait. Far, you stumped me, yeah?
Yeah, this is a new one to the show. I think I only introduced it in episode 14. Yeah, I just asked the bro Nick Parata, and he was the same. He was pretty stumped for a minute. He was like, nah, because I came into this with a whole bunch of ideas of what I would like to talk about, and then we covered most of it, so he was pretty stumped as well. Well, we can always circle back to it. We can always come back to it. The question that you wished I would ask. So my next one is, if you were to give someone who is 18, fresh out of high school, unsure what they're going to do next with their life, a piece of advice, they're good enough to get into university, but they're also good enough to go travel the world. Rich enough to go travel the world and do whatever they'd like around the world, or they're also, content with getting a job. What's a piece of advice you'd give someone who's stuck with those three options?
Travel, cuz travel, 100%. I wish I did more of it. My wahine through her mahi did. Fuck, she's been to pretty much every fucking country you can name. But yeah, travel, cuz because I feel like that gives you so much experiences and learnings as a person that you can't get anywhere else. So travel, 100%. It exposes you to so much more walks of life too, which then again will teach you so much more social skills. And I think that social skills in this day and age is the key, cuz it's the key. It's how you are. It's how you interact with people. It's how you read a room. It's how you interact with everyone around you, right? So I feel like travel, cuz it's the biggie.
But do you have any further development on that previous question of if what did I say? What's a question that you wished I'd ask, and how would you answer it?
Oh yeah. Question that I wished Rauri would ask, eh? Man, I'm just trying to be humble. Nah. But who's the next guest?
Oh, after you, it goes the Christmas special. Then I've got Jackie Long, and then on New Year's Day, I'm just doing a highlight of some of my favorite moments throughout the year, which is different guests. And then next year, I'm not too sure actually who the first guest of next year is. We haven't um, got there yet. There's a few guests coming up in the new year.
Sorry, cuz. Or actually, now that I think about it, there's tons of questions. No, but would you jump? Would you start? Would you start doing Would you start your Kaimahi buzz? I know it's never been your thing, like, and to preface this, everybody, like, it's the Rawari's, honestly, it's just never been Rawari's thing. It's been his brother's thing. Like, it's always been Brendan's thing. But like, would you, like, for instance, if I started vlogging in that, like, would you start the Kaimahi buzz? Do you have a passion for that, or do you want to start trying that, or?
Like I can do it. Like I have some diving certs and some experience in that, and I've been a ringawera at the marae down in Ōtepoti through different marae down there. So I've been in that role. In terms of filming it, nah, I just fuck. If there's work needing to be done, and someone's got to put their hand up, hey, at the end of the day, nothing's going to get done if no one does it. And yeah, I know how to do it. And if anyone asks, then I'll do it. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
I love that, cuz. Oh, actually, another question I wanted to ask you, my cuz, was me and you have talked a lot about our whānau reunion. Have you had any more thought about remember we talked about having our separate I guess you could say classrooms or classes on certain things. Have you thought any more about that, cuz? And has that sort of have you got a time frame, or have you sort of got anything going with that, or?
Now, I think the current reunions being planned at the moment, they got their committee together. They're working through that. In terms of how we talked about it and how we kind of see it to be as more sort of like an activity week for the kids, and then there's a wānanga for the adults. Nah, not too much lately. I've just had so much on my plate with this new ma'i, tried to finish my thesis, which is now getting deferred to next year, and then getting this thing off the ground. Yeah, I just haven't had much time to think about anything other than those three things. Yeah, I'd love to though. I'd love to see, our whānau reunions. Use the dialect that this fella wanted to use before. That's that
Think on
Taranaki
me, eh?
Muta. But nah, in terms of any further developments in this space, nah, not really. Not since we talked. Like, I'd love to see more Kiorai be played at our reunions instead of Bull Rush and stuff like that. Because Kiorai, it's actually got some mana behind it versus Bull Rush is what the fuck. Like, it's a mean game. That's our pastime. But oh nah, man. There's no
Room for
sort of
improvement.
there's no history to that. There's no sort of Māoritanga to that. So yeah, fuck. Kia ora some waka ama. I know we got some new waka around here. I seen Te Aotearoa post up a couple of weeks ago, or fuck, it was probably a couple of months ago now. But yeah. So nah,
Bro, they go hard. Bro, they go hard on the Bro, they go hard on the They go hard on the Waitara River, fuck, for white baiting, like the dragon boating and all that, eh? Like fuck, heaps of cool cool people doing all that kind of stuff, bro. So yeah, like that Waka Armour bus is 100% there, cuz. So yeah, but I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, it's a lot to think about, and there's already a committee involved in it. I just thought we had a good little korero about that last time, especially about the the sort of classes behind it, all of the all that kind of buzz. So
yeah, hard. And I think when it's our turn to give it a input, definitely we'll be at the table. We'll be at the table when it's time for our input. I still think because of COVID, I'm pretty sure we were supposed to have one like 2 years ago, but because of COVID, we haven't been able to. But yeah, no, there's time. There's time. Also, whānau, as the clock's ticking, I know people are like, come on, man, it's Christmas or almost Christmas Eve. Wrap it up already, fellas. So, as we start wrapping up here, Stephen, sorry for those of you who don't know, his nickname is Hamid, but yeah, I've been saying Stephen up until now. But yeah, my cuz, is there anything you'd like to say, or what are you up to? Anything you'd like to leave the guests, the listeners? Yeah, what are you up to?
yeah, oh, of course, cuz. Just a big mihi out to you, my cuzzy. I'm super proud of you, cuz. We talked about this 99Dreams stuff and what you wanted to do with this. I'm just super stoked that I could get on here with you, cuzzy, and I'm super proud, cuz, straight up. About the guests that you're reaching out to for future, and the guests that you have had, and the amount of mahi that you're putting into this, cuz. It shows you're fucking natural for it. But no, I'm super stoked for you, cousin. Super proud, and we'll always be here for you. And there'd be a lot of conversations that we have off here that evolving around this kaupapa that you have going on there, cuzzy. But I just hope that I could give some sort of help to your kaupapa there, cuzzy. But I'm fucking super proud of you, cousin. You know I always got you. So yeah, mad love.
Nah, I love you too, my cuz. I already know all that stuff. You always tell me, cuz, and I'm super thankful, and I got nothing but love for you too, my cuz. Proud of you too, with your whānau, your fiance now, not just your partner. She's your fiance now. But yeah, nothing but love for you, my cousins. Thank you so much for jumping on the show. Like I always say every week, the show is nothing without my guests. And I'm super privileged and honored to have some of my whānau show up on this. We've had you, Te Ope, even Te Kaurangi. She's been up on here. She's whanaunga. So yeah, I'm privileged to have all these guests, and especially my own whānau show up and get the support from them. So yeah, thank you so much, my cuz, for jumping on the show. Nothing but love. Really appreciate you, and for everyone still listening, I know this is a long episode, but Merry Christmas. It's almost Christmas time. We've got a Christmas episode coming out in a couple of days. So, hey, if you're dusty on Boxing Day, chuck it on. Or if you got nothing to do on Christmas Day, listen to the Christmas special. But thank you so much for listening. That's been my cousin Stephen. I'm Raori. Moriore, everybody. Moriore te whānau. You've been listening to the 99 Dreams podcast. Take care, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Look after yourselves this summer. Take care, whānau. Remember, slip, slop, slap, and rap, whānau. Take care. Moriora.